This wave of high-profile men losing their jobs due to sexual misconduct allegations is drawing attention to a case we first reported on in May. Sarah Powers-Barnhard, a Jacksonville volleyball coach, alleges in a lawsuit she was sexually abused in the 80s by one of the top junior volleyball coaches in the nation. That man, Rick Butler, is today still coaching girls. Powers-Barnhard is suing the Amateur Athletic Union to get him banned. As Heather Crawford reports, this week she was featured in a front-page article in the Chicago Sun-Times looking into allegations by 5 women against him.
My mentality was, I can't leave, I'll lose everything.
Sarah Powers-Barnhard knows what it's like to come forward with serious accusations against a man in a powerful position.
And I know that feeling. It's so scary for any abuse victim to come forward. Alone is terrifying. With 3 of us as young girls, it was terrifying. But at least we have each other, and now we have a 4th, and we know the 5th.
She says she was 16 when she lost her virginity to her coach, Rick Butler, a man she trusted, a man who promised to advance her volleyball career.
What he calls discipline is really fear. You have a chance to get a scholarship, a college scholarship to school. I needed that.
It took almost a decade for her to break her silence, but in 1995, she and 2 other women testified about the allegations before a USA Volleyball Association committee. After initially being banned for life, Butler was later reinstated and continues to coach. In transcripts obtained by First Coast News, Butler told the committee that the relationships with all 3 women began after they turned 18 and were no longer on his team.
There's a complete frustration that many people don't see him for who we see him, what he really did to us. That's frustrating.
Sarah has watched the domino effect of the recent wave of women coming forward against powerful men and says she's glad the environment is finally changing. But in her case, she says it's taking too long to get justice.
For it to come out in so many arenas, Hollywood, different sports, swimming, skating, gymnastics, volleyball, all of us talking about it, coming out, we can't all be lying.
She encourages women who have been abused to come forward.
I have never felt more confident and more me since I told my story. And so I wish I could give that feeling to the women, other victims that don't feel they can come forward for whatever reason. It's so freeing and it's so right. You did nothing wrong.
In Jacksonville, Heather Crawford, First Coast News, on your side.
The suit against the AAU was dismissed twice, but Sarah was allowed to amend and refile it. A hearing is scheduled for January. The AAU says due to pending litigation, they can't comment. Now, Rick Butler's attorney sent us a lengthy statement from Butler saying he's coached more than 20,000 junior-age female athletes. And, quote, he says, since my reinstatement to USA Volleyball in 2000, there have been no allegations made against me for any acts of wrongdoing. Despite that, for the past several years, there have been a false social media smear campaign orchestrated against me. He went on to say, I have never sexually abused any individual, and any allegations that I did over 30 years ago is absolutely false. You can read the full statement on firstcoastnews.com.